Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We continue on our road show. We are in the high desert today, and we are joined by Gaither Loewenstein. He is the Economic Development and Planning Manager of the city of Barstow, and we thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Brad.
I will admit, last night I went to the Barstow outlets, bought a lot of stuff, which is great.
I'm glad to hear that.
For sure. Beautiful, first of all.
Absolutely.
Great parking, and what a sunset. What an absolutely beautiful sunset. I had forgotten about the beauty of the high desert. The mountains in the distance, the sunsets are gorgeous. Remind us.
It's absolutely stunning.
Right.
Barstow is regarded as the gateway to the Mojave
Right,
Desert.
right.
And of course, we've got a lot of attractions in the outlying desert area, and we get lots of tourists as a result of that.
I want to talk, though, about the high desert generally.
Sure.
There's no question that over this last decade, it's been the best of times, it's been the worst of times. Barstow, probably a little bit less than some of the Victor Valley, got hit hard by the recession. I think it's fair to say we're coming out of it, but I do want to get a sense, if you can, take us back to 2006, bring us to 2011, and now 2016.
Sure. Well, the high desert in general, and Barstow in particular, are sort of on the tail end of the economic cycle.
Right.
So when it's going great, the very last towns to go great are the towns of the high desert.
Right.
And when it's going bad, the first towns to drop
Right.
are the towns of the high desert.
Right.
So we were building up quite strongly in 06 and 07, and as soon as the crash hit in 08, it was a precipitous decline for all
Literally.
5 of the communities, yes.
Was the drop as dramatic as in, for example, Hesperia? I asked that because I remember the LA Times did an extensive series specifically on Hesperia.
Yes.
And there were homes that were listed for $500,000 in 2007, let's say. By 2010, there were $125,000.
Yes. Well, we're fortunate in that we've got some pretty steady employers,
Okay.
including the rail classification
Right.
yard, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, which employs over 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the military bases, the Marine base, the Army base, which is out of town but nearby.
But I have to think, I mean, it's still part of the greater community of Barstow.
Exactly.
And they're still using your dry cleaners and going to your restaurants, and so
So that helped us a little
Right.
bit. Our housing still crashed.
as
Yes.
hard as, for example, the Hesperia example.
Well, we hadn't been built up quite as
I
much, so
understand.
we didn't have as far to fall. But certainly we have not had a revival of our new housing construction because, again, we were the very last to get started.
Right.
And we're
Oh,
going
I
to be
see.
among the very
Right.
last to get started in this recovery.
But I presume prices are inching up?
Absolutely.
But are they inching up sustainably?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's helpful.
Yes, what we need, though, is we need new housing stock now because our employment is strong. We have 1.2 jobs for every one home in the community.
I'm speechless.
We have a
How
great
did that
deal-
happen?
We have a great deal of commuters because we've got a lot of strong
From
employment
where?
there. Well, most of our commuters come from Apple Valley,
Okay.
from Silver Lakes, which is Hellendale, an unincorporated town,
Okay.
and some from Victorville. And
So they are
many of-
going-
Yeah,
okay.
and many of those workers are well paid, and they'd like to own homes in Barstow. We just haven't got the stock for them right now.
So will that create some pressure will prices start to increase a bit, or will you start to see some construction?
Prices and rents are already increasing,
Okay.
and we're hoping to see some construction. Our challenge is that we don't have any comparable sales because nothing new has been built in so many years.
That many, literally.
Yes. So the first developer to come in and build homes is going to make a killing because there are a lot of people that want new homes in Barstow.
So let's talk about that. You are the Economic Development Manager, and so are we starting to see a pent-up demand for new homes take off?
Well, the two legs of the three-legged stool. The three-legged stool of economic development is housing, commercial development, and industrial development.
Okay.
And two of those three legs are going quite well in Barstow.
That's the commercial industrial.
Yes, particularly commercial because, of course, we are on a fantastic transportation corridor. We're on
Right.
the I-15, which has 66,000 cars a day.
Wow.
So we've always had strong demand for restaurants, for hotels, and, of course, the outlet mall, which draws extremely well. Industrial, we're very favorably located because, of course, we have access not only to down the hill in Los Angeles, but also to northern Arizona
Right.
and points east, and also to the
Vegas.
Central Valley of California as well.
Vegas as well,
Las
presumably.
Vegas as well. So we're an excellently positioned community for logistics and warehousing, for example.
So let's talk about that
Yes.
because I see that in the last few years you've had some very successful projects either come online or about to come online.
Yes.
The Barstow Business Park,
Sure.
the Crossroads Route 66 Industrial Park, Those look like traditional industrial centers. Is that accurate, sir?
Well, yes, it is. And our challenge up to this point has been that we didn't really have the infrastructure connected to our industrial sites. But wisely, during this recession, our mayor and our city council improved infrastructure. They made significant improvements to the roads. They connected utilities to the prime industrial sites. They also improved the capacity of the wastewater treatment plant. So now we're ready to go. The Barstow Business Park, for example, is a formerly redevelopment property, which pretty much laid largely empty for many years. But now we have 2 new tenants coming in there, and we've got another 3 or 4 looking at that site.
You mentioned redevelopment, and I presume at one time your job title included the word redevelopment in it. Were you with the prior redevelopment agency of Barstow?
I arrived just as redevelopment left.
Okay, yes. So I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, but a lot of communities really suffered as a result of the elimination of redevelopment. Was Barstow one of them?
Well, to an extent, because redevelopment was one of the tools that we had to induce people to locate in our community. And of course, the state has taken away a lot of the tools out of our toolbox. But what we have going for us is low-cost land, very favorable location, a well-trained workforce, Barstow Community College to provide customized training for employers. So with all of the strengths that we have going for us, we're still relatively favorably positioned.
So how do you then market yourself in such a way without redevelopment as a tool to offer tax incentives or the ability to acquire land and assemble it together?
Sure.
What do you do?
Well, we offer very low-cost land. We have the fastest approval process in the state of California.
It's important.
We have the lowest impact fees in the state of California. Particularly to out-of-state potential clients, they think of us as California, and they think, oh my gosh, we're going to have environmental regulations, we're going to have high taxes and so forth. So we try to sell ourselves as the advantages of California without some of the disadvantages.
Other developments that have come online, Spanish Trail. Tell us about Spanish Trail.
This
is about to come online, is that right?
It's already, first phase is already starting. This is probably the most exciting commercial development project to come along. Yeah, it's going to be what we call a lifestyle center.
Oh, nice.
It's a 110-acre site. Ultimately, when built out, we're going to have 2 hotels. We're going to have a multiplex movie theater. We're going to have a fitness center. We're going to have a wellness center with medical options and the like. We're going to have more retail as well.
And the community can sustain those types of establishments?
Well, many of those establishments are lacking in the community, and our community can already support it. And of course, we have the benefit of the 66,000 cars a day going down I-15, which is going to help the hotel, the movie theater, and some of those other uses.
What about Montera Place, another new project?
Yes, this is a shopping center that's going to be anchored by a super Walmart.
Oh, nice.
We've always had a Walmart store in town, but that store is going to be replaced by a store that doubles the square footage.
Those super box stores, they're amazing.
Well,
I mean, I'm not taking a position, but I mean, they're cities.
Yes,
they're cities.
They really are, and apparently they did the market analysis and found that the Barstow market could support a super Walmart, which tells you something because we're a community of 23,000 people.
But you have that, like you said, the military bases are there.
Absolutely.
The community college is there.
Yeah,
You're part of the kind of the greater high desert region.
We have 60,000 people within 30-minute drive time of that Walmart center.
So when we talk in 5 years, what will we be talking about?
Well, I think we're going to be talking about the build-out of Spanish Trail, which is located, of course, at I-15 and L Street. We're going to be talking about the build-out of the Walmart Center, and we're going to be talking about some industrial development. The Crossroads Business Park, which we haven't talked about, is going to be a 60-acre site. We've just completing the grading for that. We're going to have 3 140,000 square foot warehouse buildings there. One of which has already been leased.
Exciting times in Barstow.
Exciting stuff.
His name is Gaither Loewenstein. He is the Economic Development Manager in the city of Barstow. We're in the high desert today. My name is Brad Pomerance for Charter Local Edition.